What's going on, boss man?
What's up, man? I'm Aaron.
Aaron, where you from, Aaron?
I'm from Sanford, North Carolina.
Are you from Sanford?
Sanford.
Okay, this what's up. What you got going on in Greensboro?
Came up here and got kicked out of a house with a girl.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 34. Just turned 34.
34. Let's get to know you a little bit, man. Let's talk about your childhood. You grew up in a two-parent household?
I grew up in a two-parent household. My mom was always there with us. I never had to go to daycare. My dad's a nuclear engineer. I got two brothers, two younger brothers. I had the best childhood that you could imagine. Everything I ever wanted, everything I ever needed. That sounds like you had some good parents that love you a whole lot. I still do.
What type of teenage years you have?
I was big into sports, big baseball player. Never did anything. I remember the first time that a guy brought me home from school when I was too young to drive. He stopped and smoked a blunt, and I felt so bad about it when I got home. I told my dad, and just because he's like my best friend, and I didn't go out drinking, I didn't do anything. I was all about sports, and I had a good group of friends in high school, and I was kind of like a class clown in high school, and I made prank phone calls from school phones. And there was a teacher that I actually made a prank phone call to, and I said some like sexual stuff to her, just messing around. And I actually got a text message back from her because I didn't block the number. And she said, did you mean the stuff you said, or was it just a joke? And I said, I'll see where this can go. And she said, if you mean it, then meet me here after school. And I did, and I started having
the teacher. What
Was,
grade was you in?
I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And started having an affair with this teacher, and I actually had her for class. And one day I was in her class, and I was complaining about having a headache, and she had just got her tonsils taken out, and she had some Percocet 512s, and I didn't know anything about pain pills, didn't know what drugs were, never done anything, never smoked weed, never drank beer, never done anything. I took a pain pill, not knowing what it was, and from that day, instantly I was kind of hooked, and continued to have an affair with that teacher. The whole school ended up finding out. My parents ended up finding out. Became a lawsuit.
So she got charged with it?
She got charged with it.
How did she get charged? What happened? I mean, talk about that a little bit. This is going to be a good interview. I want to know, like, how all that unfold.
Okay, so it ended up being a thing where I could like kind of count on her. She actually got feelings for me, and she talked about moving away. She had a husband that had like a good job, like $100,000 a year job, and for a few years after high school, she continued to support me, and we were like good friends. But I had a girlfriend on the side, and one day I had already been hooked on the drugs. Now by that point, just continued to take them, and then the Percocets progressed to the OCs, and then the OCs progressed to heroin, the heroin to fentanyl. But I messaged her after a few years and asked her for a little bit of money, and she said no. And I found her kids on Facebook that were now in high school, and I typed up a message saying, what me and their mom had done, and I screenshotted it and sent it to her and said, this is going to get sent if you don't, do what I ask you. And from that point on, it was a lot of money, a lot of bad things going on.
So at first she was paying you not to tell? So you were blackmailing the woman?
Blackmailing her. And it got to the point where her and her husband got a divorce because he found out about it. What ended up happening was she deleted her Facebook, she deleted her cell phone number, changed her cell phone number. She just completely went off the map. And I found her at a house, and had a girl go and give her a note saying, you need to call me. She didn't. And then I actually went to the house, and I got a phone call from a restricted number, and it was a detective from the Lee County Sheriff's Office telling me that I was getting charges pressed against me for blackmailing, and that there had been some type of charges taken out on her. I don't know what the outcome of it was. I think she moved away, but it was a...
But she did get charged?
She got charged.
So how y'all get lawsuit? If you blackmail her and all this stuff, and she doing... It's wrong on both ends, so how you get lawsuit?
I didn't get a lawsuit. I don't know how I just know that there was some type of charges made where she was fired from the job that she had, and it was no type of lawsuit against me or anything that I did. And I didn't have anything. What they threatened me with was trespassing, just that I was on her property and that I needed to get off her property. And that's as far as it went with me. And I haven't heard or seen from her since that day that I went and knocked on her door, and the police came.
So do you hold any resentment toward her for giving you that first pain pill?
I do, because I know for a fact that I wouldn't be in this lifestyle if I wouldn't have took it. I know for a fact.
Right. So, man, that's wild. So I heard you say something about going from pain pills to different drugs. Talk about that a little bit.
So it started with just the Percocets, and then she was giving me her script of Percocets, and then I had a few buddies that experimented as well, and one of them called me after a while and said, I found something that's better than these Percocets, and it was back when they had the real OCs, the Oxycontin, and we started doing those, and then it led to I had a person that older lady that I went and got them from, and one day she said, I can't find the OCs, but I can get Dilaudids, but to do those, to feel them, you have to inject them. And I said no, I didn't want to use a needle, and then that was the first time that I ever used a needle was that.
So you ended up doing it?
I ended up doing it, and then once I'm sure you've heard from other people, once you use a needle, it's
over from there.
It's over from there, and then that led to heroin, and then I was on heroin for a long time, and then it switched to fentanyl, and I was able to maintain for a while because of my family. They love me more than I don't understand how
more
much.
than you love yourself.
More than they'd give their life to see me better.
So you still got a relationship with them family right now?
Still got a relationship with them.
So are you homeless?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you just go back home and ask your family for some help? Do you want any help?
I've tried, and I've actually went home 2 times in the past 2 months. They came up here and got me, took me back home, and I get so dope sick
that you go back to the street try to find
that it got so bad that they wouldn't let me leave the house. They're like, we love you, don't leave. You know what I'm saying? Just get through it. You'll get through this. And my dad wouldn't let me out the door, and I almost swung on my dad.
To get away to go back out here.
To get away
to get off that sickness. That sickness that bad? Explain the sickness.
The sickness is so bad. If I was that sick and my dad was laying on the ground right there dying, I'd step over him to go get some dope.
Ain't nowhere. Good God Almighty! Wow, man, that's a wild story right there. So let me ask you something. If it's that bad, what kind of steps can somebody like you in your situation? How can you get off something that's that powerful?
It's
even right now, even if you wanted to, you say, man, in my heart, I'm tired of the lifestyle. It's over for me. I don't want to no more. I want the help, but I'm afraid to get the help because I don't want to go through the sick process. What can somebody do to get off of it, man? It seems like it's almost like you trapped.
It is, because, and now that I don't know if you've heard of Suboxone.
Yeah. Now on Suboxone and stuff like that.
The Suboxone is now where you used to could go and get the Suboxone at a detox and you wouldn't be sick coming off the heroin, but they say that the fentanyl, that it sticks to your fatty cells.
So it's different than heroin.
So it's different than the heroin. So if you take the Suboxone too early, then you go into precipitated withdrawal, and that's like being 10 times worse than the regular sickness. So the past few times I went to detox, I tried to take the Suboxone, it wouldn't work, and it's just it's like, honestly, the only way I've ever gotten off of it was doing time in jail, just getting locked up for, I have to steal to support my habit. I'm a convicted felon now. It's totally ruined my life, but I'm still trying. I have some court dates coming up, and I've been in contact with some rehabs, and my family's trying to help me out. But it's right now, they're not. I can't go back home right now after the nightmare of the past
So
few
when
times.
you got locked up and you said you was the only time you was clean was when you was in jail. How much time you do?
In the past 2 years, I've done 2 months one time, 30 days. Done 30 days about 3 times.
But the longest time was 2 months.
2 months.
Okay, when you was incarcerated for 2 months and you said you got off for when you was in that cell, when you knew your release date was coming up, did you want some help, or did you want to stay clean, or did you already have plans on getting high the day you got released? Be honest.
It's one of those things where, like right now, like I honestly couldn't see my life without drugs. I mean, it's just that's the honest part of it. I want it, you know what I mean? But and that's why they say, you know, you got to take it one day at a time, because you don't have to imagine your whole life without it. You just got to imagine, you know, the next hour, the next day, or whatever,
day without it.
with it, and make it just the next day and the next day. But I would, you know, I got help after the 2 months in jail. And what has been my downfall has always been, you know, kind of women, depending on them. Once I seen how the blackmailing kind of worked the first time, it's happened.
They been that's your go-to card.
That's my go-to, and it's
so you know blackmail other women, married women, you know, that dealt with you.
Yeah.
You know they had husbands.
Older, yeah, and then you know, all it takes is that one time, and then yeah, it's bad, but yeah, that's.
So what's the most money you ever got out of blackmailing somebody?
The teacher in a 6 month span, I probably got $50,000.
Wow.
She would put her debit card in the mailbox in the morning, and I would go get it, and she would put a limit in her checking account.
And what you spend off
$500, and I'd go to the ATM, take $500 out, and go put the debit card back in the mailbox, and I would do that every single morning for about 6 months.
She give you $500 a day?
A day, yeah. And then she said, Aaron, what is the amount of money to take to me to never speak to you again? Like, and I said, you can't pay it, so it doesn't matter. And she said, name it. And I said, $10,000. And she said, meet me at the gas station right now. I met her at the gas station, and she gave me $100. Is that whatever? What? $10,000.
She gave you $100 bills.
$100 bills, and it was on a Valentine's Day. That next weekend, I hit her back up.
You said it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
Do it again.
And she met me again, and this time we went to the bank and had it notarized that I did some work for her, and that I didn't owe her she didn't owe me any more money, and had me sign it and everything. Mm-hmm. That didn't work either. I mean, hit her up again after.
So and when these women give you that money, do you ever stop blackmailing them, or it's an ongoing thing until they find a way to get away?
Until they find a way to get away.
So if they just say, you know what, I don't got no more money, I'm bankrupt, what would you do? Would you still do something to them to hurt them, or would you say, okay, go ahead, I got enough?
Well, this is a crazy story too. Is actually one of the women I blackmailed. Her ex-husband was a police officer, and she was saying that, you know, I'm bankrupt, I have nothing, I don't even have money to pay the bills. And I said, well, you know, I don't care. I need what I need. And she said, well, there's one person I can ask for money, but he's going to ask questions. And it was her ex-husband. And I said, I don't care. And I was staying at a hotel. And she said, okay, well, he gave me the money. And I said, well, bring it to me. And she said, well, I'm not bringing it, he's bringing it. And this guy pulled up in a sheriff's car. And she told him that I owed money to a drug dealer. And I needed it to pay the drug dealer so I wouldn't get hurt. And this guy pulled up in his sheriff's car, and he had a bag, and the money was in the bag. And I went to his driver's side door, and he said, no, get in. And he said, if you ever contact my ex-wife again, I'll kill you. And he said, the money's in the bag. He said, no, you need to disappear. And I still think that's crazy that I got money from a sheriff because of his ex-wife.
You're a wild dude, man.
Yeah.
All this is behind addiction.
Addiction. Yeah.
Do you ever feel bad about any of this stuff? Or do you feel like they got themselves in that situation?
No, because
all you care about is the high.
Yeah, all I care about is the high. But there was some of them I don't feel bad, but there are some that were just they were good people trying to help me, and I took advantage of them.
So what are some of the other damaging consequences behind this lifestyle?
You know, it affects everybody. You know, my family. It's from my grandmas to my brothers. It's just an embarrassment. My family. My dad's a nuclear engineer. You know, they have a good name in Sanford. And you know, I've been homeless in Sanford. People calling my parents and saying, you know, we seen Aaron hanging out at McDonald's. You know, it's financially, I don't have a pot to piss in, and you know, my family lives on a ranch. They have $1 million home. My whole family lives out there. My brother's got a house out there. My brother and his wife have a house. My grandma has a house out there. I could have anything. My dad's actually, this is how powerful the drug is. My dad told me, it was a few years ago, he said, Aaron, if you never do drugs again, he said, I'll build you a house, I'll buy you a truck, and I'll pay you for the rest of your life. You don't ever have to do anything, just don't ever get high again. And I think I stayed clean like 2 days and then went back out and got high.
Good God Almighty, man. So are you the only one in your family suffering from this type of addiction?
Yeah.
So how do it feel when you are around them and all of them are doing good, all of them sober, all of them living life, and you come fresh off a high binge and sleeping anywhere you can sleep, walking back from the ghetto, the gutter, to homeless, been sleeping on the street, walking back through the door of $1 million house around all these people that's doing good. How do you feel when you're around them?
Yeah, it's embarrassing because they try to act like nothing's going on, but you know, it's obvious that they, because you know, I'll get invited home for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for Easter, those type of things, and it'll be like a day thing where they know that I can't be around too long or I'm gonna cause issues. And they try, you know, they love me and they try to be nice, but obviously I can tell that something's not right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, there's no pocketbooks around. There's no.
You can tell the trust ain't there. They don't see you as the same person that used to see you as a kid.
No, my mom's told me before. One time when I was trying to leave and I was so sick, she said, you know, screw it. There's nothing for you left to take. And you said the only valuable thing I got left is my wedding ring. You have to you'd probably cut my finger off to sell that too.
So you have stole from your family before?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There was you know, we live on a farm and they sold a piece of land and sold it for $60,000 in cash. And about 3 years later, I figured out the code to my mom and dad's safe, and I opened the safe and there was $20,000 in cash in it. There's 4 envelopes that had 5K written on it. And I tried to just take like 1,000 at first, and within 2 weeks, my dad went and looked in the safe, and every penny was gone. And he's still.
So you went through $20,000 in how long of a period of time?
Probably about a month.
Oh, okay.
But that was you know, everybody around me getting high, staying in, you know, nice places, always having a lot of dope on me.
Partying the whole
time. And even then, taking that money, they said, we don't care about the money, just we want you to get some help. And the day after they found out that I took the money, they came and picked me up and tried to take me somewhere to get help.
And you didn't want to go?
Didn't want to go.
Okay. Hey, so let me ask you something, man. When you got a real strong support system. You got a safety net when you need to go home. You got everything that most of these people wish they had, sober and people that's addicted. What is it going to take? What is it going to take, man, for you to get yourself together before it's really too late? Which means you end up in a graveyard, end up in prison with life sentence. What is it going to take?
You know, my dad's always said prison, but it's really just, have I had enough? Has the pain been bad enough? And you know, and then you know, my mom and dad will say, if you don't love yourself enough, like just love us enough right now to get through it.
You can't do it for yourself. Do it for somebody else.
Do it for us. We love you that much. You know, my mom says I cry every night when I go to bed. You know, thinking that you're out there. You know, just love me more than the drug. And it's so. You ask how powerful it is. Last time I was at home, my mom stood in front of the door and said, if you love me, you know, you won't leave. And I left.
Hey, that's powerful, man. You'll be all right, man. Sometimes you gotta let it out. Sometimes you might feel better when you walk away and you say, dang, I got a lot of stuff off my chest today. Damn. Right. So, outside Well, I ain't gonna say outside. What if you had one regret in life, the biggest regret in your entire life? What was it?
Taking that pill.
From that woman, from that teacher? Excellent answer. That's what's going on. Okay, man, that's an excellent thing to end the interview on. This was a good interview, man. You got a good story, man. I believe you're gonna be all right. I believe you're gonna be all right. So before we end the interview, in case there's any kids, adolescents, youth, or another grown person that's thinking about choosing the lifestyle that you chose, going down the same road that you went down, what type of advice would you give them not to choose that lifestyle?
It's hell on earth. It's completely miserable, and you know, if you're thinking about experimenting or you think it's cool, it's nothing good comes from it. And like you said, it's either going to lead to a life sentence in prison or dead. And you know, some of the best people I know are people that I know went through addiction and then came out on the other side. And I really, really hope that that's something that I can do. And I think I could help a lot of people, but I just got to learn to help myself first, you know.
That's excellent advice, man. I got a donation for you. Hopefully if I see you again, you accept the help from your family, man. Get yourself back on the right track, because man, it ain't no lifestyle for you, man. But I see something in you. I really see that you're going to be all right. God bless you, man. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man.